In his plays, Samuel Beckett presents startling dramatic metaphors for the human condition. Most familiar are the two tramps on a road and waiting for Godot, expecting someone to show up who will bring them, what, a meaning to their lives? They never find out. In Happy Days, Beckett's play done recently by the Black Mirror Theater, a middle-aged woman, Winnie, is buried in the earth up to her waist in the first act and up to her neck in the second act. Her husband Willie lives in a cave nearby and crawls out every morning. These are not the images we usually expect to see on a stage when we enter a theater, but Beckett has taught us to expect them in his plays and to find their resemblance to the lives we live. That resemblance is not a very pleasant one. It led the critic Martin Esslin to call the plays of Beckett and several other mid-20th century playwrights the theater of the absurd. That's absurd in the way the existentialist philosophers of that time were using the term to describe human existence. It doesn't make sense. It is not subject to reason. It is absurd. Beckett's stage images are part of the way he expresses this absurdity in the theater. It could make for a grim couple of hours in the theater, but Beckett was also an entertainer. Jerry, you said that Beckett followed the advice of someone you're going to be talking about shortly, that is Mary Poppins. A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. In Godot, Beckett made the medicine of the philosophy of Kierkegaard, Heidegger, and Sartre go down with the sugar of the silent film comedy of Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. I'm not sure what the sugar is in Happy Days. I'm told that some who have played Winnie have found lots of laughs in the role. I can see where the text does offer that possibility, but it was rarely played that way by Jamie Langen-Neubacher as Winnie in the recent production. I admire Ms. Neubacher for tackling this role. She might as well be alone on stage for the play's 2 hours for all the response husband Willie makes to what she says. Ms. Neubacher made a start in finding the shadings in Winnie's voice. I would have liked more of that range and more of the rhythm and melody of Beckett's music in his words. Some have complained that Beckett conveys the pointless boredom of our lives by boring us with pointless theater. That is not and should not be the case. Look at critics' comments on Happy Days and you find that the text is packed with meaning. As in Waiting for Godot, Happy Days takes place over 2 days, one in the first act, one in the second. Like the tramps, Winnie must find a way to fill each of those days until it is over. She has her routines. A loud bell wakes her. She says a prayer. She brushes her teeth. She puts on her hat. She takes items out of her bag that lie beside her and puts them in their place. They remind her of past days. In fact, what Winnie mostly does is talk to Willie and mostly about the past. After all, already up to her waist in the earth, a grave, she can do little in the present, even less in the second act, buried to her neck, no arms and hands to brush her teeth or empty her bag. Those routines are gone. But if she talks to a Willie who hears her, she is still alive. Her mood swings widely as she speaks, but she always comes back to a hopeful refrain. Oh, this is a happy day. This will have been another happy day. After all, so far. The text is rich, but I don't know how you convey all that richness to an audience encountering it for the first time in the theater. This production did not entirely succeed in doing so, but I am grateful to Ms. Neubacher, to the producer and director Dennis Corcoran and his assistant Michelle Zelensky, and to Andrew Bayer, who gave us a Willie, who rather strangely rose to his feet and danced at the beginning and end. I'm grateful to them for sharing Beckett's play with us.
Yes, that's well said.
We don't get to see it a lot.